than any DA in the history of California.
See, I didn't hear that.
I know you don't because the media doesn't tell you.
Okay. Well, but I still can't just morally vote for him. I just can't. And another reason why I can't.
But you'll morally vote for the woman that kept people in prison past their sentences because she wanted to use their labor. You'll vote for the woman that directly hid evidence from a man on death row, hoping for him to be put to death. You'll vote for a woman whose direct action put thousands of young men in prison for a crime that she went and joked about doing behind closed doors when she was on a Breakfast Club.
Well, I guess what? Well, the thing is, though, but don't make Trump out to be the saint either, though.
I don't know. Hold on, wait. Don't get it twisted. Trump is a bad person. He's a great president. He's a bad person. The difference is that I would rather have, because as I look at it, we have two immoral people running for president. The difference is one of them has proven that he gets shit done that benefits Americans. The other one has never done a single fucking thing to benefit America.
But he wouldn't have done that had he not been president before. So you don't know that she wouldn't be any better at it. You
no, but I do know because I can look at what Trump did when he was a businessman. And I want that same. But the thing is that even before he was president, if I had to choose between a business person who had successfully opened more than 200 businesses throughout the country, who had ran these businesses efficiently, who has awards from the NAACP for his work with the black community, but all of this before he was president, then I compared him to Kamala Harris, a person who's been investigated more and sanctioned more than any DA in California history, has kept men in prison after their term, has hidden evidence so a man would stay on death row, who got into politics because she blew her way there on her knees. The decision's easy for me.
Well, another thing, too, you have to think about is, you talk about all these businesses he did, but look how many he's failed at. As businesses. I mean,
That's the wonderful part. That's the wonderful part. No, here's the benefit. Here's the beautiful thing. People say 6 bankruptcies. Trump has opened 279 businesses throughout his history. He's had declared 6 of them have declared bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm. And in all those bankruptcies, who suffered in those bankruptcies?
He did. He took the hit. But here's
the thing.
No. Hold on, wait. Let me tell you right now. I work in the business world. If I open 270 businesses and only 6 of them fail, if 8 of them fail, I'm the most successful business person in the history of the world.
But here's the kick, though. Those 6 bankruptcies, one of them was on, let's say, the casino.
Right.
That casino. Those people that were helping him, doing their jobs, helping him build this, he bankrupt on those. Those people lost money. They lost business.
Yeah, that's the way it works. When you open 270 businesses, not all of them are going to succeed. Like, you understand that when it comes to small business in America, 90% of them don't succeed past the 5-year mark. Does that mean that everyone that
been in business for 20-something years, that one?
Does that mean that somebody that opened a small business was a piece of shit? Just because it failed?
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying.
He literally opened nearly 300 successful businesses, but you're like, oh, he's a horrible person because 6 of them failed.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about just that. I mean, just the way he's treated people in business as well.
Okay, here's the thing. If you think people are nice in business, you need to stay the fuck out of business.
I don't do business.
No, I'll tell you right now, I work in the business world. My MBA is in strategy. If you think people are nice in the business world, girl, you need to fucking learn about business. What's up, Jace?
Hey, what's up? Did she leave?
I don't know. I think Emily might have kicked her. I don't know. Emily's a harsh mod. What's up? So you're voting for Kamala?
Mm-hmm.
I plan on it, yes, sir.
Awesome. So what is your number one reason you're voting for her?
I think that she is overall, in general, a better person, and she'll be a better president than Trump.
Why do you think that?
I think that as far as Trump goes overall, being held civilly liable for essaying somebody,
right?
Definitely not somebody that I would want to be president.
I got you. So you're making a moral argument.
I think there's moral and physical arguments here.
But my thing is like, what would he be as president? Like, here's the thing: if you hate him morally, I can't argue with you on that. He's not a good person. But my thing is that if I only got to vote for people who were morally good, I'd never get the vote.
All right, but what are your moral obligations against Kamala?
My moral problems with Kamala? Okay, cool. I'll go through it real quick. As a DA, one, she was the DA for the most corrupt police department in the history of the country. That was proven by the Supreme Court of California. And she also she was found to keep more than 230 prisoners in jail in prison past their sentencing because they did not know it was their release date, and she wanted to keep their labor in the prisons.
Do you have a source for that?
She also hid evidence of a man on death row so that she could maintain her conviction percentage up before her reelection as DA, and didn't release the evidence that she had 6 months prior until after she was put back in place as DA. I think that is profoundly fucking evil.
So
I think the fact that you keep prisoners in prison past when they should have been released just so you keep a good record and just so you look good when you can be reelected as a DA, I think keeping people in prison past when they should have been released for your own political career is a fucking evil thing.
All right. So we've all heard those points, and I'm not the one that's going to be able to say, if they're true or not. I think a lot of people have problems finding those sources to find whether or not they are.
One of those sources is easy. Just look up Superior Court of California versus Kamala Harris.
So, but I've also, like I said before, I do not have the sources for it, but I've heard a lot of that stuff has been disproven. As far as
it hasn't been disproven, it's actually been it was actually proven in court. It has since been God, what's the word for it? Where you make it where the public can't have access to the records. God damn, I can't remember what it's called, but they have since taken the records of it, and I don't want to say classified it because classified is like a really super term, but they have made it so that the public doesn't have access to those records. And but no, that's all true. She was found guilty of that.
So if the documents are sealed, then how is it proved to be true?
I'm sorry?
So if the documents are sealed, then how is it proved to be true?
Because the documents were sealed 2024, 8 years ago.
Okay, so they were sealed after it came out. Do you know what the reason was for them being sealed?
They were sealed when she had the potential of running for president.
And who sealed them? Like, who is that done by?
The Supreme Court of California.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything on it, so I'm not going to make an argument or a point on it.
Is that like I've gotten to, because I didn't wait till Kamala Harris was running for president to learn who she was, because I lived in California, so I knew who she was. Like I know, I've seen the records. It's been now suppressed and put away, but that happened. She was found guilty of that. Like, so I see that as profoundly evil. I think like let's just
okay. So hear me out though.
Let's just take, like, can you agree that if that did happen, that's evil?
Sure. Yeah, I can agree with that. But can I make a point real quick or say something?
Go ahead.
All right. So, do you find that more troubling or more worrying than somebody who is just openly okay with sexual assault on innocent people?
Oh, hold on, wait. First of all, wait. I don't mean to interrupt you. I want you to say your point. Please say SA.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, so go ahead. I'm sorry.
I know morally things are, hard to compare, but either way, morally difference between them. Don't you think it would be much better to have somebody younger in the presidency?
Oh, I want younger people. I wanted Vivek running on the Republican ticket. I wanted whoever's younger, 2024. I was like, give me the young person, right? I wanted Vivek Ramaswamy running. Or I wanted Byron Donalds. That's who I wanted. I wanted a ticket that was Vivek Ramaswamy as president and Byron Donalds as the vice president. They're both young. They're both millennials. That's who I wanted. But I have two candidates to look at. And I have one candidate in Kamala who was found guilty of doing some horrific shit that I see as evil. And then on Trump's side, I see him being found civilly liable, which there was zero evidence submitted in that case. There was zero evidence that he did anything to E. Jean Carroll. And the benefit of a civil case, however, is that the jury has to determine whether it's more likely that Trump did it or more likely he didn't. But I will tell you this, that there was absolutely zero evidence submitted in the E. Jean Carroll case. So when he was found liable for SA, it was with zero evidence at all. It was his word against hers. That's all it was.
All right, I'm just doing some source checking.
Good, man.
So, you can continue for a second. I just want to look into that real quick. So, but
you're good. If you can find me any evidence E. Jean Carroll actually submitted, I'd love to hear it.
Let's see. So, but on the other hand, do you think somebody who has been charged with 34 counts of business fraud and, just lying about whatever those things were should be put in the presidency as well? Like, doesn't that kind of show on him that, if you're charged for that, maybe you shouldn't be president?
Well, it doesn't actually, because the crime Trump was charged with, the 34 counts are all the same thing. He labeled the payments to Michael Cohen, his lawyer, as legal fees. That's what the whole case is. He labeled the payments to his lawyer as legal fees because there was nothing in the QuickBooks dropdown that said payments to the corn star for me banging her, right? He wasn't paying her. He was paying Michael Cohen. Now, the difference is that Trump is the first defendant in history of America to have that crime be prosecuted as a felony. Every other person who has been prosecuted for that same thing, it has been a misdemeanor.
All right, and why was that?
Why? Because it doesn't matter because if it was a misdemeanor, it was past the statute of limitations, right? It was way past the statute of limitations. So they made it a felony so they could charge him with it.
I see.
But I do want to point out that a good example is you have Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton directly paid Paula Jones. He directly paid Paula Jones, and he didn't label it as payment to the hoe I banged. No, what he labeled it as business expenses. Charges were never brought. Like, let's be real, dude. Like, he paid Monica Lewinsky, he paid Paula Jones. Like, all of these payments have been made. A good example, dude. Do you know that over the last 10 years, $37 million in taxpayer money has been paid to people who have accused congressmen and women of essaying them? And none of that has been labeled as payments to my accuser. None of that is, American taxpayers have paid $37 million in hush money to people that have accused congressmen and women of essaying them, and nobody's getting charged shit.
Interesting.
If you want to look it up, look up the congressional, I don't know. The easiest way to look it up would be like Congress paying to quiet accusers would probably be the best way to look it up. But that's the thing, dude. Like, here's the thing. If you're looking for moral people, Washington is not the place to look, bro. And if you're only going to vote for a moral person, you don't get to vote.
Still, even then, although, morally it's hard to vote for one person over the other. Even then, like, what are the things in Trump's last candidacy that improved the United States?
Oh, easy. Yeah. I mean, we could talk about the First Step Act, which is phenomenal. It got people that were coming out of prison the ability to actually transition back into the real world with help from the government and not be restricted heavily by the courts to not be able to improve themselves and improve their lives. We could talk about opportunity zones where he went into some of the poorest communities in the country and actually injected billions of dollars into minority-owned businesses so they could be successful. And it led to an explosion of 107% growth in Black-owned businesses throughout our country. It could be the Abraham Accords, where he got more countries in the Middle East to sign on to peace agreements with Israel and our other allies in the Middle East than any other president in history. It could be his dealings with NATO, where he got NATO to actually commit, where he got the NATO allies to actually commit more money to the NATO effort than they.
Here, I just want to take a pause real quick. I just want to make sure you're aware of. I'm not, pressured, or I'm not accusing you of anything. But earlier you accused that one guy of, going on and on about different things. I asked you a question that was fairly open-ended, but
I'm sorry, you're right. So I would say
hard to, combat something you're saying if you keep on going about
You're right. I'll give it to you quick. First Step Act, Opportunity Zones, Abraham Accords. NATO paying more than they ever have. Those are great things.
So, I just looked it up real quick because I'd never heard of it. I'm going to be honest. The First Step Act, and from the 2 minutes of Googling I did, it's, I know this is NBC, so you're probably not going to like that, but although it is, helping the offenders leave prison sooner, it's also saying that, numerous instances of inmates remaining behind bars longer than they should be because they're waiting in the queue. And so, because they're in that queue, they're waiting longer.
No, they're waiting longer because their choice is either to leave and have it the way it normally was, or leave and have the benefits of the First Step Act. That Trump passed that. It's not Trump's fault that the Bureau of Prisons can't execute on what he wanted to help prisoners.
But why would you want to, help people who, helping people in general is a great idea. It's great. But why would you want to help people who are, were in prison for a long time and their life fucked up?
No. Hold on, wait. The First Step Act does not apply to violent offenders. These are people who are in jail for drug dealing or trafficking or things like that. And these are people who have served their debt to society. They have a right to re-enter society and have an opportunity to be American citizens again and be a contributor to the country. Like, they've served their time. And when you say people are waiting, here's how good the First Step Act is, dude. People are literally saying, I can be released from prison right now, but if I wait a couple months and I stay in prison for a couple more months, I can leave and have the benefits of the First Step Act. So I would rather stay in prison. Do you understand how fucking good a program has to be that you're willing to stay in prison a couple extra months to be able to get the benefits of it? And here's the thing, dude. When it comes to prisoners, when you serve your time, you have a right to be a productive member of society again. And the First Step Act gives people the best opportunities to not be repeat offenders, not go back to prison, but become people who benefit society.
No, I agree. That's a good point. But there's already those resources in most prisons that give. So you're saying in most prisons there's not resources for people to go take classes, finish their GED,
that's
their education, stuff like that.
That's not what the First Step Act is about.
It's
not about giving education to people in prison. The First Step Act is because here's how it happens when most people are released from prison.
Can I finish what I was saying real fast though?
I'm sorry?
And can I finish what I was saying real quick, and then you can rebut whatever you'd like to say. But as far as people getting help inside prison while they're, getting to, pay time for whatever they did, no matter what it was, they're still getting resources to make their life better whenever they get out. Whether or not it has anything to do with the First Step Act, in most prisons, they give you the opportunity to make your life better for that. Whenever you come out, you have opportunities. And so I don't know very much about the First Step Act, but why wouldn't we want to do that for people that are also wanting to come into the country? And why are conservatives so against helping people migrate from other countries?
We'll stay on the prison people first, because
I know, but you can
No. But here's the thing. The First Step Act isn't about educating people or making them better in prison. It's about the transition process. Like, if you don't know, I have a couple uncles who have been in and out of the prison system. And the way it works is that when you're released, you are pretty much, you're in a free-for-all, right? You have no home, you have nowhere to go, you have no job, you have trouble getting a job because you're a felon. it's a really tough thing. And crime becomes really attractive because you're struggling really hard, right? What the First Step Act does is it puts these people in touch with other people, puts them in channels to immediately find them a home, immediately find them a job. So they don't have to ever look at crime again as a thing they need. They look at it as they can re-enter society and be successful. And that's, like I said, it's such a good program that you got people that are in prison that are staying in prison longer just so they can participate. And you said, why wouldn't we offer that to people crossing the border? Here's the thing. The United States of America accepts more immigrants and more refugees every year than any country in the world. In fact, we accept more immigrants and more refugees than 95% of the world put together every year. And the thing is that if you wanted to expand the amount of people that can come here legally, you would not get a fight from me. And you also wouldn't get a fight from Trump, because Trump actually expanded the amount of people that could come into our country legally every year. What he did was he cracked down on people who illegally entered the U.S. And honestly, if you want to talk about people deporting people, Obama holds the record. Obama deported more people per year than anybody else in American history. He is the deporter in chief. No matter what Trump does, he will never catch Obama's record.
For sure. So why I obviously am under-equipped in knowledge on all of these facts, and this is what you do for a living. You talk to people about this.
No. Hold on, wait, Jace. Let me make this very clear.
No. I'm not saying anything against you.
No, Jace. I don't mean this. I'm not trying to argue with you, but I do not do this for a living. I do this in my spare time. I have a full corporate job. I also manage an investment fund. I also manage a new company. And I have a book coming out in a couple of weeks. And then after all that's done, then I do TikTok.
No, for sure. I didn't mean anything bad by it at all. I just meant you're more educated on the issues that you care about.
Because it's just I don't talk about topics that I'm not educated on.
I agree. Why was the border bill that would help people come through the border legally, I think it was a few years ago, why was that turned down by many Republicans in Congress?
Easy. That's easy. So first of all, you have to understand that right before that bill came out, you can look this up. There was a bill that came out before that called H.R. 2, where the benefit of H.R. 2 was that it was a border bill where 100% of that of H.R. 2 went to the border, right? It was funding the border. It also allowed for the hiring of, I think it was 2,800 additional border agents, and it also had a stipulation where they couldn't be used for administrative purposes. Because and I'll tell you why that's really important in a second. But that basically meant they had to be on the border, securing the border. Then that got denied completely by Democrats, and nobody in the media talked about the fact that got shot down by Democrats. And then the Democrats came out with their own border bill, which 67% of the funding in that bill went overseas. It didn't even go to our border. And then it also allowed for the hiring of new border agents, but in admin roles where they were not protecting the border. What they were doing was processing people who came here illegally. So instead of securing the border, you were just hiring new people to process all the people you let cross. It also had stipulations in it that allowed the president to basically open the border completely. That border bill did not secure the border in any way whatsoever, and that's why nobody voted for it.
But in that same aspect, though, if all of them, were not for sending money overseas in general, what was the money overseas going for?
It was 90% of it was going to Ukraine.
All right, and so, I know a lot of Republicans don't support money going to Ukraine because...
Here's the thing. Whether you support money going to Ukraine or not, 90% of the funding in that bill going to fucking overseas, if it's a border bill, is bullshit. I don't give a fuck if you support Ukraine or not. If you pass a border bill, that money shouldn't go overseas.
So, but, from what you're saying, it doesn't sound like it was presented as a border bill.
It was. It was actually named the Border Security Bill.
So, I mean, even in that case, though, if Republicans care so much about protecting our country from illegal immigrants, why wouldn't they, stick a leg out there and maybe, take a shot for, not, or for giving more money overseas than they might want to?
No, but that bill,
for giving better assets to the border.
Bro, here's the thing. If you're going to defend that bill, I challenge you to read it. Because there was nothing in that bill that secured our border in any way. Nothing. There wasn't a single thing in that bill that secured the border in any fucking way. If you vote for that bill, it does nothing for the border. Just because they named it the border security bill, it didn't do a fucking thing for the border.
But you just told me that it did have some aspects that would help with the border. You just said that yourself.
God, no, I told you it didn't, because they hired additional border agents, but they were for admin purposes, which was not to secure the border. It was only to process illegals, which means
for sure.
processing illegals means getting their names and numbers, releasing them into the U.S., and giving them court dates 2 years from now. That's not securing our border.
But at the same time, that is what Republicans want. Or some.
Okay, we have to stop. We have to fucking stop. Dude, look, 90% of the money went overseas. It didn't secure the border in any way. So the fact that Republicans didn't vote for it, I'm fucking done. Stop. Stop. Dude, it's not a border security bill. I don't care that you called it a border security bill. Stop. It didn't secure anything. Here's the thing. If you're going to come up and argue these topics, you do not get the defense of, I'm not as researched on this. Fucking research it. If you're going to discuss a topic, fucking look it up. Don't come up here and argue with me about something you haven't fucking looked up. Stop that. If you have a topic that you're educated on, we can talk. But if you're going to come up here and go, well, I'm not sure about that, then don't fucking talk about that topic. Fuck. All right, anybody else voting for Kamala? Oh, my Lord. Who's the Kamala supporters? Where you at? Where's the Kamala supporters at? What the fuck is that? Is that a dinosaur? That is a cute ass fucking dinosaur.
I love that one.
That's a really cute fucking dinosaur.
It won't let me pin.
Look, there's people in the request. My moderator, she's weak sauce right now. Wait, she's gonna beat my ass. I'm just kidding with her. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. My God, she's gonna kick my ass now.
You don't let me let randoms up. You want them to
As long as they got profile pictures, you can let them up.
Well. Oh, a girl.
Wait, why are you bringing up two people at a time?
I
Putting me in a threesome.
Etherea's in here too. She must have brought some.
Hey, so wait, I can't see your name. So I see we have Leah, and then is it Allison?
Allison.
Who's got the fucked up smoke detector?
I think it was us.
Hello?
Oh, it's me. It's 100% me.
All right, I heard that.
No, it's me, and my husband is supposed to be getting batteries for tomorrow.
All right, I got you. So you're voting for Kamala Harris?
So I've been on the fence, and I'm now closer to Kamala than I am Trump.
Okay.
And
so can I ask you what your number one reason is? You vote for Kamala Harris?
Medical. So, yes, she co-sponsored in, was it 2018 or 2019? I don't remember. It's one of those years when they were trying to bring forth the medical for all. And that's not something that Trump supports.
Yeah, but it's not something that anyone in Congress supports either. She co-sponsored that bill at that 17 votes.
That is something that, because from my understanding,
you'd have to replace about 340 people in Congress to pass that.
From my understanding, he wants to get rid of where pre-existing conditions are protected.
Well, they're not protected anymore. He doesn't get rid of that. Pre-existing conditions aren't protected.
Since when?
Since I think it was 17 months after Obamacare came through, they eliminated the pre-existing condition protections. Because you don't get to tell a private company, hey, you get to charge this completely super healthy person $100 a month, and hey, this cancer-ridden person dying and paralyzed is gets to charge $100 too. Like, because it would kill private insurance.
Somebody's snoring.
Who was snoring, by the way?
Someone's asleep.
Okay, I think it was the other person was sleeping.
My other one is, so I'm not I want to do IVF.
Okay.
Right. So my biggest problem is with the abortion ban.
Well, there's no abortion ban.
Or whatever you want to call it. I don't remember the correct terminology for it.
No, it's just states determine whether or not you can have an abortion in their state.
Right. So with me trying to do IVF,
Okay.
it is very hard. I have run into so many roadblocks.
IVF is super difficult in every single state. Yeah, it's tough.
And with Kamala's stances and Democrat stances in general, I don't have as many roadblocks.
Well, there's not a single Republican policy that opposes IVF.
Right, but they're what the law states makes it to where
Trump has actually said specifically that he is fully in support of IVF being available to women all throughout the country. Like, he specifically said that outright. He's like, he is 100% supporter of IVF. Mm-hmm. Like, literally, like, if you're running into roadblocks against IVF, you're running against like governor level roadblocks, because the president, like, Trump has said very specifically that he is 100% in favor of IVF. He thinks it's a wonderful thing that is able to give children to people who may not be able to get it. In fact, he said that he wants to find ways to make it more affordable for people to be able to do it, because it's insanely expensive.
Insanely. It is insanely expensive.
And Trump has said that he wants to be able to enable private medical providers to be able to do it at a better price without the government involved.
That would be great if that was done on any side. If anybody does that, that would be amazing.
But that's what Trump wants to do. Trump has said that. Trump has proposed policies that remove the government roadblocks that make IVF. Because the only reason IVF is so expensive is because the government it's overregulated like some motherfucker. It's so overregulated. So Trump wants to remove the regulations that make IVF so expensive.
Where am I able to see that was said? Because I want to see it for myself also.
So just look up, you could probably look up Trump IVF. You'll probably have to comb through a little bit of CNN, a little bit of MSNBC, a little bit of Vox. But you can actually see, what I would say is find Trump's direct remarks on it. Don't, like, he said it at a rally, he said it at speeches. Find his direct remarks about it. Not what other people have thought he meant and what he said. Find his direct remarks and see if it resonates with you.
Okay. I will definitely look into that. My last thing, and this is because in the beginning of all this, I was I'm going to vote for Trump. And then my son's dad is very, like, that's a horrible thing. You shouldn't do that.
I don't blame you for not being with that liberal bitch anymore.
But the conversation and the debates we have had and the things that have me questioning and have me kind of going more towards Kamala was his viewpoint is Trump slashed the interest rate. He took it down a lot and gave out a lot of money that we're having to repay, which is bringing our stuff higher.
Trump slashed the interest rate where?
During COVID, I believe it was 2019. I had this conversation with him over the year. I
have to tell you this, that the president has no control over interest rates. See, the Fed determines interest rates, and they're not a government-run organization. They're a private organization that the president has no control over. The Fed slashed interest rates during COVID because they were trying to entice people to borrow money. because nobody was borrowing money. Everybody was scared because of the financial problems. So they lowered the federal interest rate. The Fed did, which is not a government organization, because they were trying to entice people to borrow money. The president has nothing to do with that. Even Biden, I won't blame Biden for what the Fed does, because the Fed is not under the control of the president. They're not under the control of the government. They're a private organization that determines interest rates. And I will tell you this, I think the Fed is a fucking cancer on this country. And I think they need to be done away with, which is another reason